All right, so here is the next question we're going to be tackling. Let's give it a read. It says, using CAS, find the cubic function passing through these points right here. And as you can see, we're given 1, 2, 3, we're given 4 points here. So how exactly are we going to tackle this question? As you can see, there's something missing from it that we're usually given. What's missing here? Well, let's just kind of scroll back through our previous questions and let's look at this one right here. Here, we were told that we have a cubic function and it has this rule. Now, as you notice, we weren't given a rule for the current question. We were just simply told that it's a cubic function, but we aren't given a rule. If we go back to this one again, look, here's another question. Again, we're told it's a cubic function, but we're given a rule. And then what we did is we subbed that point into the rule in order to find our unknown. The other thing I want you to take note of is the fact that for this example, we had one unknown that we were trying to find, A, and we were given 1 point. So one unknown, 1 point. If we go to this question down here, we had two unknowns that we were trying to find here. We had A and B, and we were given 2 points, these 2 points. So two unknowns, 2 points. Okay. Having now looked at those previous questions, let's now have another look at this one right here. So the first thing that we noticed is the fact that we're not given a rule. So what that means is we're going to have to create a rule ourselves. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're told that it's a cubic function. So we can simply write down the general form of a cubic. And I'm actually going to write this as f of x. So this is going to be ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. So just like that, I've written the general form of a cubic. So what other questions had given me, I have created for myself. Now, what did we do in those other questions? Well, we subbed points in to find unknowns. Well, how many unknowns do I have here? Well, I have A, I have B, I have C, and I have D. And how many points have I been given? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 unknowns, 4 points. Just as we saw previously, when we had 2 unknowns, we had 2 points. When we had 1 unknown, we had 1 point. So this is going to work. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, this is going to take some time now to sub all these points in, because for previous questions, I took a point and I subbed it in. So that would mean, for example, for this one, I would have to say, well, I'm going to get a 1 here, then I would have to sub in 3 every time I see an x. And wowee, that is going to take a long time. We would have to do all of this. Yuck. Well, guess what? We do not have to do that because we can use our CAS. And our CAS is very smart and it doesn't need to go through all that. In our CAS, what we're going to do, let's do it now. Let's grab this and bring this over. What we're going to do, and now my CAS is funny, we're going to come to our CAS. We're going to come over here, we're going to go here, and we're going to define our general rule. So we're going to define it as f of x is equal to a x cubed plus b x squared plus c x plus d. So we're going to define that like that. Perfect. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our simultaneous equations. Now, why have I done it as f of x? The reason why is because what I'm going to do now, because I'm using my CAS, is I can use this notation really to help me. So when I'm subbing this point in, what I'm going to say is that I'm letting x equal 3. So it's f of 3, and I know my answer is going to be 1. Then we can come to our next point, and we're going to sub this into here. So that's going to be f of 6, and that's going to be equal to 3. Then I'm going to my next point, and I'm going to sub that in, and that's going to be f of 4. That's going to be equal to 2. And then lastly, I'm going to sub this point in. So it's going to be f of negative 4 is equal to negative 5. So what I've just done there is using my notation. I've done what I'm doing, but it's just far simpler. So now I can come to my CAS and I'm going to solve these simultaneous equations because they are simultaneous equations. This is exactly the same as what we had, for example, over here. We subbed them in over here and we had to do all that hard algebraic work ourselves, but now we're going to use our CAS to solve these ones right here. So if you wanted to, you could even label these. We don't have to, but this is going to be 1 equation, 2 equation, 3 equation, 4 equation. So we have 4 simultaneous equations that we're now going to use our CAS to help us solve. So let us come over here and use our CAS again. So I'm going to say solve, then open bracket, then come over here to this button right here, and I have 4 equations that I need to solve. And now I've already defined what f is, so I can just go f, see that it's bold, that means it's defined, f of 3 equals 1. That was our first equation over here. Then I come down. Now I'm going to go f of 6 is going to be equal to 3. That was our second one. F of 4 is going to be equal to 2. And f of -4 is going to be equal to -5. Then I put a comma, and I'm solving for A, B, C, and D. Comma between each one of those, close my brackets, hit enter, and there are my answers. Not the prettiest numbers in the world. You would then have to write down what all of these are, but the question is asking us to find the cubic equation. So what we would actually have to do now is we would have to put this A value into this spot. We'd have to put this B value into this spot. We'd have to put this C value into that spot in order to get our answer. So if we wanted to do this, we could. Perhaps we should. Should we do it? All right, let's do it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put these in. So this is if my computer wants to work with me here. Hopefully it does. So I'm going to say that f of x, let's try that again. F of x is going to be equal to -31 over 1680 x cubed plus, now my b is 41 over 560, 41 over 560, that's going to be x squared. Let me now move over a bit. Then I'm going to get plus c. C is going to be 983 over 840, 983 over, oh, I have to move my mouse there, 840, and there's going to be an x there. And then lastly, my d value is going to be, and I might just have to come over a bit, -187 over 70. So it's going to be -187 over 70. Perfect, and that was what it is. Perfect, so that is going to be what my cubic function is going to be. So let me now come over here, let me expand that out. So let's remind ourselves of what the question asked. It said, using CAS, find the cubic function passing through these points, and we have done that down here. This is what our cubic function is going to look like, which passes through those points. So let's give that a highlight, and let's put a red box around it. Hopefully this video has been helpful in showing you how to use your CAS to do this. And as you can see, using our CAS is really, really easy and really helps you solve simultaneous equations quite efficiently. Put a box around that like so. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.